Tuesday, Tubi, movie night. Tuesday, Tubi, movie night. Tuesday, Tubi, movie night. Tuesday, Tubi, movie night.
Ooh,
You're gonna feel alright.
look at that guy. Oh,
That's right. The hell you is.
Ooh, it's time to ride the funk train, rocking women's sunglasses and Rolex watches like we do. We're what are you doing? All right, so our momentum, Luke, our momentum has been hurt because to be honest with you, man, we had a crappy little situation where the limped penis yokels at what is it, Cinna Ridge Entertainment,
Cineporn,
Cinna Ridge, yes, Cineporn, Cinna Ridge Entertainment, basically gave us a copyright strike for our last episode where we talked about Baby Cat, and
but the good news is that was reversed.
Yes, we won our litigation.
Yeah.
And
they talked to your lawyer Funko Jones or whatever.
Hold on a second. Let me see if we can say it. Can we say that he? No, but anyway, yeah, man. So we won. The good guys won. They got upset because that episode we showed a trailer of Baby Cat. Now, I don't understand. We're showing a trailer for human beings to watch, right?
Yeah.
Their show, they get paid every time somebody goes to Tubi and watches their damn show. So why in the hell would they be upset that we're actually promoting the show? And truth be told, we were nicer than we probably should have been to the damn movie.
No, comparatively to what's going to happen today, we gave it a glowing review. No, I think that's, first of all, Cinna Ridge, Cinna for Entertainment. Yeah. If you've got a podcast, any podcast whatsoever, even if it's, what it had, like, a couple hundred views, yay. But people are going to watch your movie.
Yeah. That
normally would have never even heard of your movie, not watched your movie. So you want to take that down because, we were critical, or we said, what kind of movie that was. What that movie looked like when you released it. That it was a campy, terribly made, very fun movie. You knew that when you released it. And if you didn't know that, stop releasing movies.
I think they did.
Yeah. No, they actually, Fern, what's her name? The cat, the girl that played the cat
she's
she's
her own human being.
Well, but she has her on a new movie out on Tubi that just came out. It's called like Devil's Tongue or Demon's Kiss or something like that.
Power Wolves.
Power of Wolves. It's the Power of Wolves.
Oh, I thought it was Power Wolves. I thought it was like a team squad.
I will say let's compare Baby Cat to Power of Wolves. Power of Wolves, I watched it. It was well shot. It was well lit. It was another lesploitation kind of movie. Okay. The lesbian scenes were serviceable. It was the most boring piece of shit I've ever seen. I will never even come close to watching that again. But I'll probably watch Baby Cat again. So maybe
Power of Wolves or Power. I thought it was Power Wolves. That was
it's Power of Wolves. Okay. And it is.
Than Baby Cat.
No, it's not. I mean, it looks great. The lighting's great. The cinematography's very good. It's obviously a different director, but it's a boring piece of shit. Like there's nothing. I mean, I'm watching. I got a thing now for Baby Cat and whatever her name is, Fawn Rivers or something like that.
I've got her Instagram. She's funny.
And she's funny and she's attractive, and that movie did nothing for her. They didn't use like. I think that's what you have to do in independent movies like we do, is you kind of make characters based on the people that is playing the character, and exaggerate it. They said, well, I mean, if you watch this, you'd come, watching Baby Cat, I came away going, man, that Fawn Winters, I think is her name. I was like, man, her and the other lead actresses, I'd like to see them succeed. I'd like to see them win. They put their heart and soul into this. After watching Power of Wolves, it was just like, you fail, whatever. You know, that movie was. I mean, it did nothing for nobody. It's I mean, I watched it a week ago and I can't remember basically anything about it except for it was slow and boring, and I don't remember the plot.
All right, Luke, I'm gonna pull your card for a second. We're not talking about Power of Wolves. We're talking about this thing you drug up.
Well, hold on. Are we done? Are we done talking about Cineporn? Because that, be professional. If people are talking about your shit, they're talking about shit. No heat is bad heat. Okay? So you want heat. If you have no heat, you have bad heat. So, but bad, people talking bad or people talking good is good heat. Okay? You don't want to be Sean Waltman.
The whole point of this, what we're doing, is to shine a flashlight on one movie out of millions.
We're fucking that flashlight.
Yeah, and what we're doing though is we're finding a movie that is just in a sea of movies.
Yes.
And for us to see a movie and go, let's watch this one, they're doing more right than a lot of people. And so if we started off with Baby Cat, and we picked you guys, and you turned around and slipped us the greasy jelly finger from behind, and you didn't tell us that you were going to do that. So shame on you.
And then we had a different movie in mind for this episode, where we also had a different a co-host in mind for this episode. That wasn't I guess he's out. He's just too busy. But then we had a different movie picked, and then I'm sitting there looking through like recommendations, and I see a movie called Kung Fu and Titties. Yes, Kung Fu and Titties. And I was like, I immediately sent Vinny a picture. I was like, dude.
No, you were like, Vinny, please, 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 please. Like, how would your dad saw the BB gun from Christmas?
Unfortunately, I didn't watch the movie before I made that recommendation.
Well, we were deceived. Now, I do want to say in Big and Funky Land, real quick, today we are the centerfold in the magazine. Check this out: Libertarians Who Make Art, a big 3-page article with beautiful Sheena and beautiful Kirby with her big beautiful behind. And
who's right behind the other side of this.
Yeah, her behind was back there. And then talking about behinds, look who's behind me. That's Luke Walker. So anyway, if you want to check out Libertarians Who Make Art, the centerfold is Big and Funky people. But yes.
And let's again, but if you're first time tuning in, you don't know us, you came here because you saw the hashtags or Tubi and whatever. We are independent filmmakers. We make I wouldn't even call them B movies. We make very, very low budget movies, and we are trying to prove to the world that you can tell great stories with no money. Because how many times have you seen horrible stories that cost $80 million to $100 to $300 million? I mean, watch the freaking Marvels. I could have farted a better script than that.
Did you?
And said, we're trying to tell good stories in a stupid, campy way, but we're trying to do something that this movie, Kung Fu and Titties, did not do, and we're trying to do something that leaves an impression with you, which Baby Cat did. So we're trying to.
So you sound a little angry. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm flaming mad. Have you ever known me angry?
You sound angry though. I think people that don't know you, you're going to be like,
well, I'm just talking, man.
I think you're coming off a little like, I think you're a giant. You got to be careful with arm movements. This guy's 7 foot tall. He could pick people. He could take a baby's head and rip it off of a body. So let's talk about this. There's so much I want to vomit about Kung Fu and Titties.
Okay, first of all,
I don't know which way to go, but I do want to say probably first, I was extremely disappointed. And there's positives about this movie. Relatively for a one camera, you can tell they shot it with one camera.
I don't think there's any positives about this movie.
I'm going to tell you the sound was not terrible. The sound could have been a lot worse.
Well,
and most things were well lit.
Okay, first of all, with the sound, I mean, there were some overdubs that were absolutely awful. Like they didn't try to match at all. I don't understand why. And I guess it was trying to be a gag where people were talking and the background animals and noises would get so loud you couldn't hear. I think that was supposed to be a gag. But the problem with this movie is, or one of the thousands of problems with this movie is, it's gag based, but none of the gags are funny.
All right, so let's tell everybody what this movie is. So
Okay.
It's Kung Fu and Titties. So we're going to see boobs, which there were plenty, and the women were attractive, most of them.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm not going to hate on them. Most of them were pretty fit. I mean, there were some that were. I mean, I'm not. If I was drunk at a this look. Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
Right.
You saw boobs. There were boobs. They did deliver boobs.
Yeah, but at least every 3 minutes there was boobs. There was. Yeah.
And Kung Fu. I don't know if there was any Kung Fu. There was bad Kung Fu shtick, but the story. The movie starts off, I thought, pretty interestingly enough, where this out of shape 40-year-old balding Kung Fu guy lost an MMA fight. And there's a guy in there like Mickey going, hey, you got to do better. You got to train hard. You got to lose that gut. He apparently lost the fight.
Which at that point was the only thing I actually found slightly amusing about the movie was the black dude in the background constantly oiling himself up. Brandon Bishop is talking a lot in the comments, and I can't see him. If he saw this movie, bring him in because we lost Danny. We need a co-host this week.
He didn't see it, but if you did see it, Brandon, bring him in, and we're going to get you on one of these upcoming episodes, man. But the black guy, and even the closed captioning didn't even give the guy a name. It called him African American male. Yeah,
well, and then there's characters with names that the next scene they would have no names on the closed captioning. It was so stupid.
So anyway, long story short, a girl comes in there, takes her top off. She's like, I love MMA guys, rubbing her boobs all over this guy, and then goes, oh, I don't even know who you are. Leaves. There's a gag about, they keep going to a gag about baloney, how to pronounce baloney. That's not funny. So to make a quick.
But no, okay. One of the few things that was funny about that is when somebody said, right after I said, who just carries around baloney? And then somebody in the movie goes, who just carries around baloney? Okay. That's the funniest thing in the movie. That's not funny.
I laughed out loud twice. So the movie, the guy goes home and he talks to his girlfriend.
Hold on. We're skipping something.
I'm going to do a quick. This is what the movie is. The guy goes home, talks to his girlfriend. She says, hey, I'm pregnant in a weird way. They go to another dimension because somebody comes and kidnaps the girl because there's a person in another dimension that thinks this girl is Rain. Oh shit, I forgot her name. She's like an actual kind of B-movie star.
Yeah.
If you could pull that up real quick.
I fucking can't.
He can't. I'll look it up here in a second. But there's a movie star who stars in these very bad B movies, and there's a king in another dimension. He wants to marry her. They go to this weird dimension. It looks like it's a horse stable. They rented a stable for the weekend to shoot this movie. They fight. The king lives. Everybody sees boobies. They get reunited. The woman and the man, the Kung Fu man, at the end, they're brother and sister, and they start making out. Bam, Kung Fu and Titties. Now we can fill in the gaps, but I will say my thing. The thing that bothered me the most about this movie was it was not funny at all. The dialogue killed this thing. Well, I laughed twice.
Okay, I think the jokes would have worked better if they were funny. If they were funny, because the jokes and the gags, like the height of this guy's humor, I was going to talk about earlier, is the guy that I thought was funny, the black guy oiling himself up. He goes at the end of that conversation at the beginning. He goes wah wah, which is such the most annoying fucking thing in the world. That's like white girl at a bar fucking wah wah. He did that, and then just 10 more times in the movie, he just shows up and peeks out and goes wah wah, and you're like, what the fuck? And that basically tells you everything you need to know about this movie. Is like every gag sucks because it's based on something. But what was really weird is I'm watching through the opening credits and I see featuring Bronson Pinchot. I'm like,
the only fun thing I had in this movie was trying to figure out who the hell Bronson Pinchot was.
okay, he was two characters.
He was two characters, and it took me a while because there was a lot of pasty 50-year-old white guys with brown hair. And if you don't know who Bronson Pinchot is, he was a great character on a sitcom called Perfect Strangers. He was Balky from the island of Mepos. And when I was a kid, this was a big show to me because I still remember full episodes of Perfect Strangers. He was a guy from a small island. He did accents, and he was in New York or Chicago with his cousin Larry. And there were some funny things. And he was in True Romance, which is my wife's favorite movie. You know, he gets pulled over by a cop, and he's yelling at this hooker, and right when he gets pulled over, a bag of cocaine explodes on his face, and he looks over the officer, goes, "Hello, officer, can I help you?" So, I mean, this guy has comedic chops, and he's been in some good comedy.
Yeah.
So, take it away. Tell him it took me a while to figure out which two characters he was.
All right, the first character, when for some reason the main guy who looks kind of like he's like a Family Dollar Vinny.
Yep.
And
I thought that too.
He gets pulled into this weird dimension and he runs into a Native American elder who is Bronson Pinchot. And he's just sitting there talking in, not a very offensive accent or anything, but like, we got shit for Candy, who is quarter Native American in our movie. Bronson Pinchot is not Native American at all, but they don't give a shit. But
and his name was Two Dogs Fucking, which is a punchline to the oldest joke in the United States.
Yeah, so that was disappointing. I was like, come on, man, Two Dogs. Yeah, that's like a Jackie the Joke Man Martling. Who also there's a character that wears a gorilla costume, and when he took his hat off, I thought he was a young Jackie the Joke Man Martling. Looked just like him.
I thought it was Michael McKean.
Yeah, also little Michael McKean, but that character was pointless. It was dumb. It was, but native.
He's a real comedian that tours. I looked at his name's Marino, Mike Marino or Mark Marino or something.
Oh, is that Mark Marino?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, he's a good comedian. He wasn't funny in this movie at all because nothing was funny in this movie at all.
No.
So anyway, the Native American starts talking about a prophecy that's never really explained. Then he knows everybody's name without ever meeting anybody. Then he's just riffing on and on for what appears to be, I mean, it might have been 4 minutes, but it seemed like it was about an hour and a half of him just sitting there going, "Hey, yeah." And it was just like, all right, I've had enough of this shit. Then a bunch of nothing happens.
It's terrible.
And
in between like every 2 or 3 scenes.
Oh, the buffers. Oh, it was so terrible.
It's like Rowan and Martin Laugh-In, where they would show like go-go dancer girls doing this kind of shit.
The girl with the fire, putting fireballs in her mouth. And then for some reason, some dude in a Speedo and googly eyes doing bad karate. And you're like, who even thought that was funny?
And it wasn't even centered properly. Like they would show these people, and it was like, did you ever notice like they'd be running through the grass, and the next scene they'd be in the snow, and then they would be in the grass again, and then the kung fu guy would be completely shaved, and then he would have like a 5 o'clock shadow, and then he would go back to being completely shaved.
Well, the one other thing that then it's around this time you're introduced to the king, the old man that's in charge, and this guy is the most annoying old piece of shit actor.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was just annoying as fuck. And he's doing all the typical trying to be over the top bullshit.
Oh, he's like, titties, I love titties.
I love titties. And then he would, he reminds me of like, if you've ever been around a theater group, there's always that one old guy wearing an ascot. That's who that guy is. He's like, they went to a theater group and got the old annoying guy that thinks he can act, but all he does is like, to be or not. He's like Adam Sandler doing Shakespeare and Billy Madison. It's just I mean,
what was he doing? Do you remember the scene when he's on the canoe and he's
Yeah.
chasing around geese? And it's like, what are we watching?
yeah,
And you have to think, when you shoot a movie, you have to set up, like, that took probably 2 hours to set up to shoot that guy dorking around in the duck pond, and it made no sense.
with no point, no punchline, and no comedic value whatsoever.
Well, that's the whole movie. I mean, the only thing I can say, Luke, is I can recommend this movie to prisoners who haven't seen a woman in years, or to 8-year-old boys who've never seen boobs. I will say, at the end, I don't know if you remember, there was a good-looking girl. She kind of had like a little sassy. She was a brunette with a sassy.
The Asian girl.
Oh, speaking of the Asian girl, why did that guy keep stabbing her in the head? And they would go back. They were stabbing this poor woman for an hour and a half in the head. And
with an obviously plastic, Party City knife.
She never died. She just bled more and bled more and bled more. It was terrible.
Yeah,
it was absolutely.
But I mean, and Sid, speaking of, this movie was designed for like young kids to watch. Well, Mikey watched it with me. We'll get him in here in a few minutes and let him do a review and talk to you about what he felt about this movie. Because all right, here's what I think this movie was. Obviously, it was made for these people to, let's say this movie was filmed over 7 days. Okay. Let's say it was filmed over seven straight days.
Great.
The first day, and let's say they filmed it chronologically. They filmed it from the front to the back. The first day, they looked like they might have been having fun. That's what the first thing I noticed about this movie is like, oh, these guys look like they're having a good time. And then the first night, somebody fucked somebody's dog and sucked all the fun out of the set. And then they just kept going and going. And it was like you could literally feel the happiness. Because we have to watch this movie now. We're stuck watching this movie. This is one of those rare occasions where I wanted to turn it off so bad. But you could literally feel all the happiness being sucked out of your soul the more you watch this movie.
Well, what killed me, that there were no good jokes written. There was no good
None.
Script. It feels like it was all ad-lib and nobody could ad-lib. I want to give props to the main Kung Fu guy because he kind of carried the movie.
I'd assume he's also the director.
I don't think he is. That was what confused me. Is that normally when you watch a movie like this, the main guy is the director. Don't look at my credits. But anyway, it's like that's, I've never seen it. Why is there a chubby guy with a bald spot in a Kung Fu movie? Maybe he's the director. I don't think he was. I think he did an okay job being the lovable loser.
Well, I think he didn't have bad comedic timing either, unlike this ambulance. But there's no material, and that's what I think. Like I think the problem with like Baby Cat was, and the problem with this movie, because the main actor seemed like he had some good comedic timing, but there was no comedy for him. I think in something else, a lot of the people in this movie, except for the old man, would have, and also the Christian guy that. Like,
I was going to talk about that.
This guy, he is the central point of the movie. Ends up being that the main Kung Fu guy gets one wish, and he brings back this Christian guy who has apparently also been sleeping with the main Kung Fu guy's girlfriend. But his wish is to bring this guy Christian back, who is like the worst, unfunny New York, Boston stereotypical Goomba.
This had to be shot in Southern Jersey. That's what this was a Jersey thing.
Because that I don't see how that character would be funny to anybody. He was just unlikably annoying.
There was no material, so everybody acted like an ass that they thought would be funny. Like, I'm going to be this outrageous, obnoxious character.
Which gets us to Bronson Pinchot's second character.
Well, that was insane. I couldn't believe that was him. He is credited as Beaver. So I'm watching the whole movie going, okay, I can't wait. Yeah. Bronson Pinchot is going to come save this movie. Now, we do know you can hire somebody like.
Oh, this is a Kevin Sorbo situation.
Exactly. You can hire a guy for a day, pay him like $10,000, fly him in, feed him, put him in a hotel, and take him back. and they can act for a day, and you can put their name on the top of the DVD cover, so people like us will go, well, Bronson Pinchot's in it. It's going to be halfway decent.
At least we're going to see Bronson Pinchot, but then we didn't realize we're going to see him in the worst roles ever wrote for a human being.
What do you think was going on in his personal life where he wanted to do this movie?
I mean, I guarantee you he did not want to do this movie, because his second character is a guy who's been kept in a prison cell or horse stable, apparently, for 15 or less than 10 years, but more than 5 years, as a minute of dialogue explained.
And who cares?
And he's been fed nothing but green beans and pork and beans. So he farts every 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And does the outrageous leg movements and all this, puts his butt in the air and puts his butt in people's face. And
what's happening? Was it shit?
It didn't work for 3 farts. It went on for 10 minutes.
And the joke is that everybody thought Beethoven was playing in the background.
Yeah, he was farting Beethoven.
And that's the other thing is this movie was rife. If you were a little bit left of center politically, there was a Frenchman, there was a white Jamaican, there was a white man playing a Native American, there was a white man playing a gorilla. There was something else in here. Oh, the Croatians. What the hell was that about?
Yeah, there's no point in those characters. It just filled time. And then, they all fought and died against an invisible army, which we know you can fight, me and you know personally, you can fight invisible people and make it hilarious. Because we've done.
When the fight scene happened, I left the room for a little bit. I needed a break. So I was I knew this was going to be bad kung fu. So I was just not going to watch.
Well, let's just say, even when there was actual kung fu scenes, like with the guy that kept flipping his chest, that they apparently thought was hilarious, that this guy could do the rock chest pop thing, because they showed it maybe 15 times in the movie with bongo sounds, obviously, because that's what you do is the bongo sounds. But then they just did the thing where you keep, to hide the fact that none of them are trained fighters or wrestlers or choreographers. They just did the whip panning, the whip zooming, the whip, zip, 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 and you're like, all right, I'm gonna throw up after 10 minutes of a fight against invisible people where you're whip panning.
Whoa,
that's my day.
Take it easy, honey. So, is everything all right?
Yeah, Mikey's over here trying to burn the house down.
What's he making? Hot dogs and
we're making some Italian sausages, and he didn't turn the oven off.
Yeah, bastard. That kid. He's in there jacking it to kung fu and boobies.
Dude, if you were 15 years old, 16 years old with the internet, do you think you would ever we blame these kids for never leaving the house? Dude, when we were 15, 16 years old back in the 90s, 80s.
Let me rip on your point. I know what you're about to say. But this movie was a relic, because this movie would have been something that a kid could have watched back before the internet. We don't need it now. We don't need to see girls acting. And see, I know this sounds, people are going to be like, what? You're wearing a pimp hat? I'm a sapiosexual. I like intelligent women. I don't like woo girls. And if you like drunk, stripper-looking women who act like I'm dumb and I've got my breasts out, aren't I cute? That annoys the hell out of me. I love the human body. I love women and stuff like that. But these women kind of just, I was like, I know you love boobs more than almost everything. And I know that's stereotypical of a man, but you do. Were you turned on or?
Not in the least.
Yeah, I mean.
Not in the least. I mean, this was beyond being an unfunny movie. This was like there was a scene where the two girls start making out at the end, and it was the least sexy thing you've ever seen. This movie is unfunny and unsexy.
It looked like they were at gunpoint, right? Like it looked like they did not look like they were into it at all. Like, and you wonder what the world.
When I know we make campy horror comedy movies, and there's nudity in all our movies, but it is either for shock value or it is for narrative. And I like salacious nudity. I love salacious. I miss the 80s. I miss the 80s when, like for no reason, Goldie Hawn in Wildcats for no reason is butt naked in a bathtub. No reason. I missed that. That was great times. But oh, we did get to see that dude. If you didn't watch the fight scene, there was a dude who you got to see his balls.
Hot.
Yeah, but no, and said I do like salacious nudity. I think it has a place, but it also when it's salacious nudity every 2 minutes, it was annoying.
I just can't. I mean, I
hate this movie so much that I was annoyed by titties.
I agree, and I mean they were pawning a castle off. This was obviously a horse stable that they were at. Location was an issue. You got woo girls outside, probably with their shirts off, which would be much. I don't know what the hell that noise was, but I hope you're safe.
There's little Asian kids running by my house.
Hey, get some. Well, anyway, but man, I'm talking like. What was Bronson Pinchot smoking? What was he? Was he suicidal? Was he drug induced?
I think if you can, next time Kravitz calls you, see if you can get in touch with Pinchot and see if he's all right. All right. See, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was over at Pete at his house too much. We don't know.
Well, you would think like maybe this was his friends, but these guys were a bunch of New York, New Jersey mooks. None of them are friends with Bronson Pinchot. They had to have paid him $2,500 for a day or $5,000.
And I like how we're acting like Bronson Pinchot is like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, for these, I mean, he was big to me. I mean, he's in True Romance, which is my wife's legitimate favorite movie.
Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop. He was amazing in Beverly Hills Cop.
Pat Billy just said in the comments, Beverly Hills. And Perfect Strangers was great. So I mean, it's tough to make in Hollywood.
Dude, Bronson Pinchot literally stole scenes from Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop. How do you steal scenes from Eddie, the scene stealer, Eddie Murphy?
And he said there's so much weird, folks. This movie, do not watch it. I mean, I felt like Joel Hodgson and you were Dr. Forrester. I was like, I can't do the show anymore because the fact that you hated this movie as much as I did was a relief because I was like, dude, I mean, if Luke gets on here with a page full of notes like he did with Baby Cat praising the damn thing, I'm going to have to check our friendship. I have
not one of these is positive. You know me,
and I can't read any of it right now. So
me, I am a summertime Santa Claus. I am a man without malice. I am the happiest guy in the world, and I want to find the bright spot in everything. I would have if I'd have met Dahmer and if he was in prison, I was talking to him, I was like, well, I mean, he does have a nice smile. I tried. Your wife's the same way. She tries to find the beauty in the poop. There was no beauty in this poop. There was no corn nugget. There was no piece of peanut. There was nothing.
I'm going to, since these guys will probably watch this, and I don't want any ill will. I like the idea. I think the name was great. I'm going to give you my positives. The name of the movie is great. It's what stuck out. It shot us to the second movie in this whole series.
Mm-hmm.
The women that you had, most of them, especially that brunette with the cute little bob near the end, most of them were very attractive. Good job. I don't know if that was a strip club,
but if you have girls like that on screen, background is also important.
Yes. Yeah, man, for real.
Just have them jumping around in a barn is not doing anything for anybody.
Yeah. Work on positives. The first fight scene between the gorilla and the guy was okay. Now, this is another problem I had with the movie. The gorilla got his ass kicked by the guy, or the main hero. Dick Titties is his name, folks.
Dick Titties.
And then after that, the guy couldn't seemingly fight at all. And then the gorilla trained him. And I was like, the gorilla got his ass kicked by the Kung Fu guy in the first fight. And now there's like the workout montage and the gorilla's going to train him. And there's a prophecy. And none of it makes sense. I mean, I know this our podcast night sucks because we don't make sense.
What does it say like at the bottom of the movie poster for that? It says like absurd comedy. Well, look, dude, that was not absurd comedy. That was just not that. There was no comedy. It was just absurd. There was no comedy. Now, let me if the people that avant-garde, I would get into. That wasn't avant-garde. That was just not funny. But let me give my advice to the directors and writers of this movie. When you finish your next script, send it to us. and we'll give you some funny jokes. Just watch our movies; they're fucking hilarious.
Yeah, even if you don't like them, the jokes are funny.
I mean, because to me, I always get down. I was like, man, our movies ain't that good, even though I know our movies are fucking great. I'm like, man, our movies aren't that good. Then I watch something like this, and I'm like, oh god, we made Citizen Kane of dick jokes. But also, if you don't want to come to us, if you have got a lot of pride and you got a lot of ego, and you don't want to come to us and let us punch your scripts up for you, I would recommend next time you take the script and take all the words in it and remove them.
Okay, so I was trying to say something positive too. I'm still there's.
I got nothing positive to say.
There's two
and you're talking to me.
Two things made me laugh out loud. It jumps to a scene. Her name is Rain Brown, by the way. So the ruler of this world's trying to find Rain Brown, who apparently stars in movies like this. And the funny thing is, he took himself. He couldn't handle it. He took himself out. Rain Brown apparently stars in these B horror movies like this, and she never shows her boobs. And the whole movie, they're talking about seeing her boobs. She never shows them. So I do applaud that for some sort of plot continuous thing. Like she's on all these titty movies and she never shows her boobs. So I don't know if she's Catholic or if that's just they don't pay her enough. But
I show my boobs in a movie.
So anyway, two things made me laugh. See what you think about this. They shoot to a scene where Dick Titties is talking to Rain Brown, and Rain Brown is playing a fictional version of herself. And she asked him a question, and the guy goes, "What is this? Question Town?" And there's a sign behind him that says, "Welcome to Question Town." And the guy walks up and goes, "Why, yes, this is Question Town." I laughed. I don't know if that was desperate, but I also thought it was funny. Luke, what did you think of this when Dick Titties came in to fight the old man? And he kicked the door down, and it showed
7 times.
Yeah, like bam, 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 bam. I thought that was funny. Did that get anything from you?
I was annoyed by it because that was too close after your great or your long time ago. That went on. Because you know me. One of my favorite tropes of comedy is to take a joke, get a laugh, take it so far that it's not funny anymore, and then take it further till it's funny again. I love that. It has to be funny the first time for you to do that. And then it has to get funny again. And okay, let me look over my notes, my extensive notes, and see if I can find anything positive to say.
Oh, he's taking himself out again. He blew his brains out.
No.
You didn't like the lighting, the sound, nothing positive from this.
I mean, the sound. I mean, okay. Here's what I'll say, and okay, I'll put this over. The director and if they had a cinematographer, the crew knew what they were doing.
In a way, yes. Yes.
They knew way more about what they were doing than we did when we made The Hike. If this is their first movie, they did a good job. Especially if they didn't write the script, because me and you write our scripts and direct and produce, and
the script. So you're saying the nuts and bolts, the horse sense of the crew was pretty good, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and unlike Baby Cat, they used all practical sets, no green screen, which I think if the director of Baby Cat would get together with this guy, they might actually be able.
I think the guy is trying to hack. I think you're having a dimensional.
Yeah,
you're going. He's
hacking me out
to fight.
No, but I think what needs to happen is the director of this movie and cinematographer need to go remake Baby Cat and see what happens.
I think they need to do other things with their time, but but
again, if they're having fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's no harm.
And hey, congratulations, you're moving on to Tubi. For some reason, they won't put Camp Smokey on Tubi.
Well, they are. They're just it's taking.
I know. Yeah, we got three movies on there, and then our third movie, Camp Smokey. It's just we're waiting forever for that thing to get on there, and I can't wait for you guys to see that movie because
we've made 4 movies in 4 years, and one's with the side TV. and all of them are streaming. I'm pretty happy with our
yeah. And hey, you guys got Kung Fu and Titties onto Tubi. That's good. That's a very good.
Everybody can see it. It's free. It's great. And that's what I'm saying, guys. Look, and I say this to all filmmakers. If you get your movie and it makes $1, your movie that you created is doing better than 91%. Only 9% of all movies make $1. Everything else just kind of falls and doesn't get completed, and it's just ideas and scripts.
Well, and
concepts and that kind of thing.
Look at this. Our profit margin off the hike. The hike's got a lot of views, and we're getting close to 2 million views over all platforms on the hike. I wish people would watch WJHC because that's a superior movie to the hike.
On the hike, it's the moneymaker.
No, but I mean, I'm saying I wish people watch WJCM because that is actually a superior movie. The hike is what it is, and I love it. I mean, it was our first movie. It was our baby. I love that movie. But the money we've made off just the hike alone, we've made way more money than Indiana Jones and the new Indiana Jones movie. We made way more money than the Marvels. We made. Yeah, they lost. All
checks? I don't know. What are you talking about,
dude? All those movies lost money.
We're still in a little bit in the red. We're not in the black yet, but maybe with merchandise and shit. But I don't.
Well, no, I mean because like the Marvels lost like $120 million. So they got a while to Disney's got a way to go to catch up with Big and Funky. I'll tell you that. And again, if the producers, directors, or actors are watching this and going, "Who are these fucking assholes?" We're fucking assholes.
Yes.
Okay, that's who we are. We are shitty. We love campy. We should love your movie. I wanted to love your movie. Your movie is right. The premise, the name, everything about your movie is right up my alley. It's exactly what I want out of a movie. Baby Cat is exactly what I want is exactly what I want. Just this movie sucks.
Well, okay. I don't want to crush these guys.
No, I do because I want criticism too. Like I made a Facebook post earlier about my music. Some people need to be criticized. I love criticism because then I know what to fix. I know what to fix. Okay.
Take it easy. You're supposed to be the summertime. I'm supposed to be the asshole. You're the baby face. I'm the heel. So okay, let's ease up a little bit on these guys. This was 11 years ago. I think they got Bronson Pinchot when he was at a homeless shelter or something. I'm not.
Is this movie 11 years old?
Yeah. So I mean, these guys. I think these guys have all moved on from making movies. I mean,
or they split up and did better. Okay, I thought this was a newer release because well, then I got to say your camera work was fucking fantastic for 11 years ago.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think for a micro budget movie, the camera work and the lighting and the sound, they weren't bad. I mean, that's
all right. That changes things. The crew, fucking great. Keep making movies, crew. Scriptwriter, stop.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that killed it is nothing was funny. Acting stupid, acting vapid, acting like I see this when we go to film festivals, these local film festivals. Every comedic character does the same fucking shit. Learn how to be funny. Get a comedian. To play your go to an open mic where there's comics and get a comedian. Or get a pro wrestler. They're good at everything. They're good at being self-deprecating. They're good at stunts. They're good at fighting. If you hired all these pro wrestlers to make your movie, this thing would have been freaking fire. And they would have been funnier than these schmucks.
Yeah. The old man, as soon as I saw the old man, the king in the movie.
Okay, we have a question. Fuck this movie. I'm tired of talking about it. I got to go in a second. Pac Billy said, "Who made the song in WJHCAM?" If you're talking about "Go Up Yonder on Yon Hill over there," that was Luke. Luke sang.
I improvised. I turned the phone that I'm talking to right now on record and improvised that song. And it was based on the Sun. What was it? What's that band called? Sunsphere, Sunseed hit. Jesus Is a Friend of Mine.
Yes, it's like a rap song with really square. It's a joke thing, but it also that was based on something that I experienced at the radio station. This guy, it was all of these religious songs were extremely You know, they were extremely
Terrible, awful,
yeah.
just god awful.
Hey,
Like,
hold on. But yeah, they're also, the titles are long-winded or whatnot. So
yeah. Well, I wanted Mikey to get on here to give you a 16-year-old point of view, but you got to go. So, because Mikey watched it, and you think a 16-year-old Kung Fu and Titties, he fucking hated this movie.
then I guess that tears it. I mean, if a 16-year-old kid hates this movie, and me and Luke are a couple of comedic butt nuts, it's just a bad movie, folks. And next time, I hope we can enjoy. What are we going to watch for
next week? Is a movie that actually has some really good heat. That, like, Tony Hack loves this movie. There's parts of this movie I really like, but there's a lot of it that I think is bad. Not in the way I like bad to be. It's called Don't Fuck in the Woods. It is available on Tubi. Don't Fuck in the Woods Part 2 is available on Tubi, and it's god awful, so don't watch Part 2.
So
we're watching Part 1. Part 1 does have some pretty, I mean, it's a slasher B movie, campy camp movie. We'll talk about it more. I'll watch it again. I recommend you watch it. Also, we don't have a co-host or a third. So what we want to do, instead of replacing our third, is if somebody watches the movie while we're doing, if somebody has seen the movie and you're in chat and you're in the chat next week, we're going to pull you out of the chat to be the third guy on the thing. As long as you can follow directions to get on the StreamYard, which is easy as hell. But yeah, we're going to pull it. We're going to watch Don't Fuck in the Woods, and then get in the chat, and then get in the chat. And we'll pull somebody out of the chat to be the third. And you said it's worth watching, and you're probably, because it would be great for you to see maybe some things that you like that we didn't, or things that we didn't like that you did. It'd be cool.
This is just a book. This is just a book club for bad movies or B movies,
which are our favorite kind of movies.
So, what was your scale last time? We have a B scale. What was the scale?
Yeah, there can't be an A because these are B movies. So you can't get an A. It's B through F. F is fucking awful. B is still bad. So
what do you rate? What do you rate Kung Fu and Titties?
G.
Okay.
I mean, I can't even give I can't even, like, if it was 0 through 90, because you can't go to 100 because that's an A. If it's 0 through 90, it's a 0. This movie, there's nothing about this movie worth watching.
That's an extremely difficult school if you have to get a 99 to get an A, or 100.
No, it's 90 through 100 is an A. No, I think that there's nothing redeemable about this movie, and this movie features titties every 2 minutes. You literally, like I said, the worst thing I can say about this movie is it got me annoyed with titties.
We're just going to leave it. That's the best sign-off line ever. All right, 2 weeks from now, join us, Big Luke, Funkmaster V, somebody, a guest in the chat. Brandon Bishop says he wants to be here. He made the intro. Hey, guys.
Well, then watch the movie and join the chat. We'll pick somebody out of chat next week. 2 weeks.
In the Woods on Tubi. Part 1, not 2. Love you guys. Good night. Oh, Bronson Pinchot, where'd you come from?
Hey, Bronson. Oh,